Arad County former. Arad County was an administrative unit in the Kingdom of Hungary, the Eastern Hungarian Kingdom, and the Principality of Transylvania. The county was established along the Maros Mureș River in the 11th or the 12th century, but its first head, or ispán, was only mentioned in 1214. Its territory is now part of Romania, except a small area of the town of Elek and the surrounding villages, which is part of Hungary. The capital of the county was Arad. Geography. The medieval Arad County was situated in the lands along both banks of the Maros Mureș River. The existence of arable lands, pastures, vineyards, and orchards in the western lowlands in the Middle Ages is well documented. The hilly eastern regions were sparsely populated. The total territory of the medieval county was around 3,800 km to 1,500 sq mi. In 1744, Arad County absorbed a large part of Zárend County, including its capital Zárend/Zárend. The remainder of Zárend County was then reorganized, with Corosbánya/Baia de Christ as the new capital. In 1876, when the administrative structure of the Kingdom of Hungary was changed, the territory of Arad County was further modified to include the western third of the diminished Zárend County, namely the Nagyhalmagyi/Halmagyi district. Zárend County was disbanded altogether on that occasion. Arad County shared borders with the Hungarian counties of Sziszentmihalyi, Békés, Bihar, Tordő Aranyos, Hunyad, Krasos-Zorny, Kéms, and Toronto. The river Mureș formed its southern border. Crystal Alb River flowed through the county. Its area was 6,078 km to 2,347 sq mi around 1910. History. Origins. The Hungarians dominated the region of the Maros in the middle of the 10th century, according to the Byzantine Emperor Constantine Porphyrogenitus. Archaeological finds also shows that Hungarians settled in the plains along the river after their arrival in the Carpathian Basin at the end of the 9th century. Place names of Slavic origin, including Lipova Lipa and Zabrany Temeshide Cut, evidence the presence of Slavic-speaking communities, especially in the region where the river, coming from the mountains, reached the lowlands. A powerful chieftain, Ajtani, ruled the territory along the rivers Danube, Maros, and Tisa in the early 11th century. The Maros formed the northern border of Ajtani's realm, according to the Gesta Hungarorum, but the longer version of the legend of St. Gerard wrote that he controlled the lands as far as the Koros River. Ajtani was killed in a battle against the army of Stephen I of Hungary, which was under the command of Sziszentmihalyi. According to a scholarly theory first proposed by historian Georgi Gyorfi, Stephen I established Arad County after Ajtani's fall. On the other hand, historian Gyula Christo writes that Ajtani's whole realm was transformed into the large Sziszentmihalyi County during Stephen I's reign. Arad County only developed into a separate administrative unit in the second half of the 11th century or in the 12th century. Middle Ages. The remains of an 11th century stronghold, made of earth and timber, were found at Arad. At an assembly held in Arad in 1131, the wife of King Bilal the Blind, Helena of Rascia, ordered the massacre of 68 Hungarian lords. Arad Castle and the estates attached to it were first documented in a royal charter, issued in 1177. The first known ispán, or head of Arad County, Paul Sziszentmihalyi, was mentioned in a royal diploma, dated to 1214, but its authenticity is suspect. The earliest authentic document that referred to an ispán of Arad was issued in 1240. The western regions of the county were included in the deanery of Arad of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Sziszentmihalyi. The earliest documents suggest that the kings owned most lands in the plains along the Maros. However, the distribution of royal domains started at the end of the 11th century. For instance, Ladislaus I of Hungary and his brother, Lampert, granted 5 villages to the Tittle chapter before 1095, and Bilal the Blind established the Arad chapter in the 1130s. The Hodos clan was the only local noble kindred in the county. They were the patrons of the Hodos Bodrog monastery. Members of the Sisan. The effects of the Mongol invasion of Hungary cannot exactly be determined, but at least 4 monasteries disappeared. Solomos Castle in present-day Solomos in Lipova, the first fortress built by a nobleman in the county, was erected after the withdrawal of the Mongols. Ecclesiastic institutions, prelates, and lay lords including the Bishop of Sisanad, the Arad chapter, and the Garais, Lachthes and Telegdes held most former royal estates in the first half of the 14th century. The existence of 4 elected judges of the nobles was first documented in 1311, proving that Arad County had transformed into a noble county, an institution of the local noblemen's self-government. Lipa present-day Lipova became the most prosperous settlement in the early 14th century. The tax payable by the local priest to the Holy See between 1333 and 1335, 266 dinars, was almost 10 times higher than the average tax collected in other parishes. The Slavs of the district of Lipova were converted into Catholicism in the middle of the century, according to John of Cucullo's contemporaneous chronicle. The earliest Romanian place name in the county Caprior, now Capriora, was recorded in a list of the estates of the Telegdes, which was completed in 1337. Modern times. In 1920, the Treaty of Trianon assigned most of the territory of Arad County to Romania except for a small area south of Bikas, which became part of the newly formed Hungarian county of Sisanad. At the end of World War II, the Hungarian part of Arad County was merged into the recreated Sisanad County, but in 1950 that county was split and its territory became part of Bikas County. The rest of the county is now part of the Arad County in Romania. This county also contains parts of the former counties Temes and Crasso-Sorni. Demographics. Subdivisions. In the early 20th century, the subdivisions of Arad County were: Elek is now in Hungary. All the other towns mentioned are in Romania. List of ispans. Middle Ages. Habsburg rule. Clickable map of the Arad County 1782-85.